So today's presentation is going to be maybe a little different than most of the presentations we've seen in the last 2 days here at OpenSSL. Specifically, I'm going to focus more at a very high level in terms of how we as an organization are using OpenSSL to deliver and to receive secure communication for our partners and for the threat intelligence services that we provide. Specifically, NetSTAR is not in the business of building cryptography libraries, but OpenSSL is a foundational layer to everything that we're doing. Right now, we provide different services and products that I'll show you in just a moment to over 275 OEM partners around the world. This includes companies like Ericsson, Microsoft, as well as service providers and telco companies like Vodafone, O2, 3UK, and companies like that. This slide is showing you the products and services that we do provide to our partners. We have URL categorization, web and SaaS app categorization, threat intelligence, which is a data feed, IP Compass, which is kind of a reverse DNS lookup service for IP categorization, and then some technologies for the ad tech industry, and then also a solution called Log Compass, which is a tool to kind of categorize and log the results of this data. We're not applying OpenSSL beyond server infrastructure. Our browser extension project, however, kind of changes that, and it provides certificate checks to the end user. OpenSSL, whoops, I guess I need to move forward here. Those are our browser extensions projects. Those are not released currently, but we're kind of giving you a sneak peek to those here at this conference. And then OpenSSL, as I mentioned, is foundational for NetSTAR. First of all, we consider OpenSSL really as kind of a silent infrastructure hero. In other words, without OpenSSL, we need an army of engineers just to manage certs and manually handle those. Instead, OpenSSL reliably lets our infrastructure scale cleanly. The business value in enterprise adoption for us is that in today's environment, cryptography hygiene is a business differentiator. For partners in the government, telecom, or cloud, FIPS 140-3 isn't optional, it's required. And so we are using OpenSSL to help us do that. It provides the readiness for audits and compliance. So when our partners are looking at the layers of security that we're providing, we're covered. Major OEMs integrating our threat intelligence need assurance that the entire supply chain, including our API infrastructure, meets their cryptography requirements. And again, the OpenSSL FIPS validation provides the documented and audible proof that we're secure. So here's some strategic use cases and community impact that you'll see. Beyond the basic transport security, NetSTAR Threat Intelligence Pipeline 1 processes billions of security events on a daily basis. 2, we ingest feeds from over 85 strategic partners from around the world. And 3, we're enriching data with contextual intelligence, all while using OpenSSL to secure these feeds and connections. Our real-time API response time, which is sub 100 milliseconds, even under a load, is dependent on OpenSSL's infrastructure. And the browser extensions that I mentioned just a moment ago secure those extensions for us. Supporting OpenSSL isn't just about securing our own business. It raises the security baseline for the entire ecosystem, which includes those 275 OEM partners. When smaller security vendors or open source projects can leverage the same cryptography foundation as our enterprise infrastructure, it decentralizes access to a secure environment. Okay, so in this particular slide, what I wanted to show is that we have all of these back-end processes that are using OpenSSL. When we started to ask ourselves internally, how are we using OpenSSL technology, we were able to see many places where we were using it. One is communication layers between servers and clients, code repositories such as Git over SSH and HTTPS, API gateways, website certificate workflows, microservice integration, and internal authentication systems. It's the backbone specifically to our environment. It also comes default of many of the cloud services and common tools and workflows that drive development, not just in our own company, but on a global basis with our OEM partners. As you can imagine, with 275 OEM partners, companies like Microsoft or Barracuda or Ericsson or any of those kind of companies, their security mandates are transferred to our security deliverables. And so we work together in doing this. And OpenSSL ensures FIPS compliance and secure TLS for taxi. So just as a quick reference, OpenSSL ensures the FIPS 140 compliance, CRL and OPS check protection against revoked certificates, and foundation for trusted and automated threat intelligence exchange. On this top row shows the certificate lifecycle. In the middle row, you're seeing we highlight OpenSSL operationally. And then on the third row, you'll see that where this matters most, which is in the taxi data flow. Okay. This is just a kind of a footprint of where our data centers reside around the globe. And specifically, what we wanted to kind of show is that the map shows NetSTAR's direct OpenSSL footprint, but the true scale multiplies exponentially. So every cloud platform we use, whether it's AWS or another cloud service, relies on OpenSSL in that infrastructure. Our partners' products, which serves over 1.8 billion endpoints, overwhelmingly uses OpenSSL for secure communication. When you trace a single threat or query from a user's device through network infrastructure or cloud services, our APIs, or our back-end systems, OpenSSL appears in all of these multiple layers. This isn't redundancy, it's the compounding effect of standardization. Once you realize how integrated SSL is within your company, at every layer, you start to understand as a leader that crypto traffic isn't just a responsibility for engineers, it's also everyone's responsibility. Specifically, cryptographic trust is a leadership issue. One, it future-proofs. It future-proofs the approach that we take for post-quantum cryptography transition. Two, it addresses the compliance issue, which I mentioned earlier. And cryptographic trust is a business strategy. So choosing open standards like OpenSSL signals responsible infrastructure decisions to our partners. And then three, with modern OEM and strategic partnership discussions prioritizing security posture from day one, NetSTAR enters into negotiations with major OEM partners regarding our cryptographic hygiene, and this demonstrates that OpenSSL implementation, FIPS compliance, and standard adherence directly impacts the deal that we're making and the velocity by which that deal is made. We're not protecting data, we're protecting business relationships and market positioning. And that is how we address our leadership position in the market. There's no other vendor out there that we compete with that has as many OEM partners the size of those OEM partners, the number of endpoints, and again, through our leadership, we are securing the network. Responsible leadership and open standards addresses a few things. First of all, when we invest in OpenSSL as a company, improvements benefit not just NetSTAR, but every partner, customer, and their end users. Threat intelligence is a huge part of what we do, but it's not the only thing we do. And so providing a collaborative model that creates a shared security environment and the benefits that come with that through OpenSSL provides efforts that can't be achieved on its own with a team of engineers for a company that is our size. And we have about 450 employees around the world. And as you can imagine, that would require a lot of engineers focused just on cert management alone. Elevating cryptographic trust from operational concern to strategic priority wins customer confidence, accelerates partnerships, and future-proofs that infrastructure for the future. The question for everyone that I'd like to pose is, how does your organization support open source cryptographic foundations that you depend on? And what would the business impact be if that infrastructure became compromised or unsupported? What leadership role can you play ensuring long-term resilience or critical shared resources? One is that every company here depends on cryptographic infrastructure. And so by utilizing OpenSSL and similar cryptographic technologies, we provide a trusted environment. And the real question is, what are you doing as leaders to protect and scale that? And that is how NetSTAR has looked at the market, looked at our responsibilities in the market, and our partners' trust. Are there any questions?
All right, if we have no questions, let's give a thank you to Daniel and
Thank
on
you.
the presentation.